Hi all, greetings from the apocalypse. So we should talk about the surfaces that we're going to chase and repousse on. The most traditional is pitch. It is pine resin and it has like brick dust or some other kind of like binder in it to give it the right body. For different kind of projects, you might want soft or hard. The best pitch in the world, of course, is available through Tevel, and he gets us all our stuff. But here's the thing about pitch. Pitch is a pain in the fucking ass. It is annoying to use, so I only use it when I have to. When the piece that I'm doing absolutely has really high raised areas that I need to fill in with pitch and stuff like that. If I'm making the little chased and repousse earrings that I'm going to be showing you, honestly, I don't even stick that down sometimes. I can put them down on double stick tape. I can work on top of a piece of leather. I can put it down on a folded up paper towel if I'm really desperate. So I will show you about pitch and how to use pitch, but just know that I sort of only pull out my pitch bowl as a last resort, because every time I need to anneal the metal, I've got to heat the pitch up, I got to get the metal out, I got to clean off the excess pitch, I got to anneal and pickle, heat it up, get it back in there. And then guess what? You can't start whacking on it right away because the pitch will still be relatively soft. So I gotta let the bowl sit there until it really comes back to like room temperature. So if I have to do that every time I anneal for something simple, it's really fucking aggravating. So I'll show you the alternatives, and then I'll show you how to use pitch for when you really need to. Like this is an example. We were doing some kind of chasing sampley type things, and you see this is copper, but you see how much of high relief this is. If you're trying to do something like this, yes, you're gonna need to work in pitch. Stuff that just has, minor highs and lows, you can just use double stick tape, etc., etc. When you buy pitch, basically it's gonna come like a brick, and then usually you wrap it really securely in layers and layers of paper or plastic or towels or whatever, and smash it with a hammer, one of the more fun things to do, so that it breaks down into little pieces like this. Because what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to warm it up. Now, when you warm it, it starts to become sort of liquid. Not liquid like water, it's more like thick, like melted chocolate, which is, of course, exactly what it looks like. But don't want to stick your fingers in it. Here's the thing, it's really important to remember that when pitch is cold or, room temperature like this, you touch it, it's all good, totally fine, not a problem. As soon as you warm it up, if you were to touch it with a bare finger, it would stick to you and it would burn, and you can get a really pretty severe burn from it. So don't do that. Whenever I'm working in pitch, I have my bowl of water right there, because at any point, if I feel tempted to touch it or poke it or anything, I dip my hands in water first. And it's also not good for the pitch to get it too hot. If you get it to the point where it starts to bubble or smoke, or even worse, actually start to turn black a little bit, it's gonna lose all its resiliency. It kind of loses its give, which is its entire point in the first place. So usually what we use instead of a torch is we use like a hot air gun. And I'll show you how, but we're gonna kind of hold it back and not to get too close, because the easiest thing to do to make a mistake with the pitch is to just I gotta get it hot, and you get in there too close and it starts to bubble up, which, like I said, can be dangerous, and it's not good for your pitch either. So not good for the pitch, not good for you, don't do it. So I'll show you how to warm this up using the hot air gun, and I'll also show you how you would set up a pitch bowl to start. When you're setting up your own pitch bowl, you want to think about how big are the pieces that I'm going to work on. Now, if you're the kind of person that thinks I want to do giant plaques of things, and that's fine. You're going to need to get a great big bowl. Most of us aren't working that ginormous, so a small, this is I need to get my ruler out. What is this? Maybe 4.5 inches, 5 inches. Yeah, it's 4 3/4 inches. So a bowl like this for most of us is plenty big enough. Now you'll notice that my bowl, that's not pitch in there. There will be pitch on the top though. So here's the thing about a pitch bowl. Pitch is not particularly cheap, especially if you get the good stuff. But here's the thing, it is a complete waste to take a bowl and fill it with pitch. You're never gonna be using the pitch more than maybe half an inch down the top of this. So you don't need to fill this with pitch. A good way to do it actually is you and a friend go in and buy, you know, a pound or whatever of the pitch, and it's enough for a few bowls because you're only gonna be putting it, you know, maybe about this much, maybe not even that much, about like so. And it's to your advantage to have your bowl nice and heavy, because it's just like with an engraving ball, you don't want it super light, because if it's heavy, you can kind of move it and it'll stay in place. If it's too light, it'll just move around too much on you. So you can put like old nails in there. What we did, we were having a chasing and repousse workshop with Charles Newton Brain, and we made a bunch of these for people to all have their own pitch bowl. And we just like got like Quikrete, you know what I mean? In a little bag, you add water, you put it in there. So this is concrete in here, relatively heavy. We just like, you put it in there, and I think we left it overnight or for a couple hours, whatever. It hardens and becomes really dry and whatever. Of course, you want to make sure there's no moisture in there before you start putting your pitch on. But then we took our, you know, kibbles and bits, put it on here, and we're going to take the hot air gun and we're going to melt it. So I don't know if I'm going to on video prepare this whole thing, because I really don't think you want to watch the pitch slowly melt. But I will melt a couple pieces on here just so you can see, you know, how it works. So here's my hot air gun. This is the kind of thing you get at like Lowe's or something like that. It's made for like stripping paint and I don't know, some other activities. But a torch is usually too aggressive, so the hot air is really better. And you'll notice I'm gonna keep it back, and I'm gonna keep my eye on my pitch and make sure it doesn't get overheated. But of course, I would put more pieces than this on here if I was really trying to prep the whole bowl, but I'm just gonna show you a little bit of melting so you can see how it happens. Okay, on low. And I'm gonna point it at my pitch. And I'm gonna keep a close eye on my pitch and make sure I don't get tempted and start moving in too close. And you'll see it'll start to slowly warm up and kind of relax. And like I said, it won't get watery, but it will get sort of like melted chocolate, like thick melted chocolate. And I can see I'm just getting like a little shiny spot or two. Like I said, this is not the most action-packed part of a video, so I'll probably speed it up a little bit. Could be a tiny bit like watching paint dry. You see how they start to get just a little bit shiny? And they're starting to kind of relax a little bit. So basically I would keep doing that, and I'd add more and I'd add more until I got it up about as much as the one over here, which I'll show you a little close up of. I bet you never thought you'd see a video as exciting as this. And particularly if you think you might get carried away, it's a good idea to have something in front of your eyeballs when you're working in pitch, in case you get carried away and something gets too hot and you get a splash, because it would burn like hell. Move it a little closer. And you can just smell the pitch a little bit. It just has a little bit of a pine fragrance. but it shouldn't smell like, you know, a pine tree on fire either. And just resist the urge to do this too fast. Like I keep saying, you want to do it slow. I suggest you actually do it on a day that you're not planning to go ahead and chase and repousse, because I guarantee if you're chomping at the bit to actually start your project, you will get too impatient. So I know you're already thinking to yourself, where do I sign up? Melting pitch is amazing, and I can't wait to watch it slowly and carefully melt. I'll speed up the video so you don't have to watch it in real time. On the bright side, if you're prepping up a pitch bowl, it'll probably last you forever. So more than likely, this is a one-time only project. So you see how it's relaxed down and they're starting to sort of slowly spread into each other. So if I was going to go ahead and make the whole pitch bowl, I would be adding more pieces and heating it until this is completely covered. And I would build up a little bit because I want to have enough pitch on there that if I want to heat it and like make a big pile in the middle, you know, to fill up something, I've got enough pitch there that I can work with. And anywhere along the way, if you see the tiniest bit of smoke or bubbling or whatever, you know, turn this off for a minute or so, let it cool down a little bit and pull back a bit, because that means it's too hot. You know, my arm feels great. Wish I could do this all the time. Okay, so like I said, if I was going to actually go ahead and do the whole bowl, I'd be continuing to add pieces and to heat it and whatever until I have it all filled in. But like I said, that is just slow and not super fun to watch. So I want you to use the power of your imagination to think about me filling up the rest of it.